Hey guys, how y'all doing? I'm here to give you guys a recap on the new chapter of Nanatsu no Taizai, or you could call it the 7 Deadly Sins, on chapter 301. Now, this chapter right here, it felt somewhat inconsistent in a sense, but it is debatable. But if anything else, I'll give you guys my thoughts after I'm done with this recap. So if anything else, let's go. We have to it that Bond stands in front of the Demon King, which he has Meliodas' body, and he asks Bond a question. You're gonna drive me out? How are you gonna expect to do that all by yourself? Hawk cries in tears of joy knowing that he came back, etc. And he ends up throwing Hawk to Gother, and later on he decides to try to take him on. But King warns Bond, be careful, even if you are immortal, there's nothing you can do against them all on your own. But Bond tells King already that I brought Elaine back to life, which completely used up my fountain of youth power, so I'm no longer immortal. And we see to it that Bond goes like, now then, can we start driving your butt out of there, please? And we see to it that the Demon King calls Bond a foolish boy, and he ends up using his magic power to actually activate a powerful wind. And it looks like it deterred and frightens everybody, and King tries to stop Bond, but it was too late. We have to it that King had no choice but to activate a shield on the entire crew, and we see to it that that King is already running out of stamina, and Escanor is wondering, I'm sure Bond will be okay, right? I mean, what's gonna happen to him? And we see to it that the energy storm is really devastating, to a point that even one of them says, I highly doubt anyone could actually stand against it. But unfortunately, Bond was able to somehow. The Demon King was actually surprised by this, and Bond's like, compared to the Purgatory, this is nothing more than a little breeze you got here. And later on, the Demon King tries to attack Bond, but Bond swiftly dodges the attack, and he tries to punch the Demon King, but the Demon King blocks it with his left hand. And we see to it that Mel is really surprised to see that Bond's able to stand toe-to-toe against the Demon King. Even everybody's surprised about that. Like, Bond was able to land some good blows on him and was able to dodge most of his moves. But eventually, the Demon King managed to land a hit on him, and Bond is on his knees. We see to it that the Demon King asks Bond, do you seriously think you could possibly manage against me all on your own? And we see too that the Demon King is all of a sudden suffering some major stomach pains, and we see to it that Bond calls the Demon King an idiot and says, who says I was alone, you dumbo? And we see to it that everybody is surprised to see that Bond's attacks is having an effect on him. And of course, Gother and everyone else realizes, especially Elizabeth and the Deanne knows, that Meliodas is actually within his body, and the Demon King sees his son once more, and he therefore tells his son, I am not going to let you do as you wish. I am the Demon King to bring forth death and fear. It is my duty, it is my existence. And we see to it that the Demon King tries to hit Meliodas with the sword, but Meliodas blocks it swiftly and elbows him right in the face, and the Demon King falls on his back. And the Meliodas tells his father, like, and that is your sin, etc. And we get to know, we see to it that the 7 Deadly Sins will be on break next week, which is really pitiable, really sad, but nothing can be done about that. And the next chapter is called Everyone is Waiting for You, etc. So, yeah. Pretty simple chapter indeed, and very debatable. It's just Bond facing the Demon King head on and able to withstand an attack from the Demon King, etc. But, yeah. So, I'll say this chapter is very, very debatable, honestly. I mean, let's get into the fact that the Demon King is pretty strong. I mean, having the Ten Commandments absorbed, he's able to take over Meliodas' body. But we have to understand that Bond himself was training in the Purgatory with its immortality. So, it's somewhat understandable to the reason why he was able to handle the Demon King's magic powerful wind, because the Purgatory must have been way worse than that. But I also have to question, what is the Demon King really at his full strength of power? Because this is where it starts to be very debatable, because for Ban to able to land some hits on the Demon King and make him cough up some blood, it's questionable to that point, because this is where I think when it came to the Holy War arc on this one, which is the final arc, I believe, this is where things started to be very inconsistent with its power levels, you know? I mean, look at the original Demon. He got brushed off pretty badly and wasn't able to land any major killing blows, and he got blasted away by Mel's greatest son of Sunshine. And when it comes to the Demon King, he's able to like flick everyone away with the exception of Ban, because we all know Ban got his power up by training in the Purgatory or looking for Meliodas in the Purgatory with his immortality, but he no longer has that. So for Ban to still able to have maybe a small bruise or somewhat of a bad wound on him and not be killed by the Demon King himself, it is understandable but very debatable and questionable, because we all know the Demon King is very strong, and for him to take over Meliodas' body and having the 10 Commandments absorbed, etc., it makes me wonder, is the Demon King at his full strength yet, etc., you know? And it's very debatable and questionable, and for Meliodas to arrive right on the nick of time and face his father and able to elbow him right in the face, etc., and push him back onto the ground, it's also questionable. But we had to factor in that I went back to chapter 285, I believe. That is when Ban and Meliodas were about to escape, and the Demon King tries to grab Meliodas, but Meliodas activated his own original power. So if Meliodas is really using his own original power against the Demon King that's in his mind or in his body right now, trying to fight over who takes control, trying to take his body back, it's understandable, because if Meliodas really activates his original power, though, at the very big price that he won't be there in Britannia anymore, it's understandable. But yeah, so I will say that like that this chapter is okay, but it's very questionable, because this is where like certain power levels or strengths of many powerful figures in the Holy War arc and this new Holy War arc, which is the final arc, it started to be a little inconsistent. I mean, any of you guys who have been reading Nanatsu no Taizai up to this point, you will understand what I'm talking about. Those who haven't and just like gonna brush it off and call me an idiot, I mean, think about it. I mean, the Demon King is supposed to be very terrifying, right? And the only equal against him is the Supreme Deity. So I question right now, is the Demon King at his full maximum power? And if he isn't, then it's understandable. Because like for Ban to able to land some hits on him, it's also debatable. But we had to factor in that he trained in the Purgatory, but etc. And time is really irrelevant compared to like to the time in Britannia and where the 7 deadly sins and the others are at, you know, etc. But like I said, this chapter is very debatable and questionable, because we're bound to land a couple hits on the Demon King and like etc. And Meliodas coming back and able to beat the Demon King, but because if Meliodas activates his original power back in chapter 285, which I looked back to look into by the way, excuse me, damn it, excuse me. Going back to what I'm saying, that if Meliodas activates his original power to able to harm the Demon King in a certain way at the cost of not being able to be in Britannia anymore, it's understandable. But yeah, just a lot of questions, and it's very debatable. So yeah, nothing much I can really say here and there, but that's about it, people. All I can really say is just a simple fight between Ban and the Demon King, and for Ban to land a couple hits and blows, etc. And like I said, it's very debatable in this chapter. So until then, I will see you guys in the next video. I'm Alpha Zero, people. Have a good day, and I'll see you guys next time, alright? Peace out. Bye-bye. Toot-toot-toot!